Welcome back to the Wind Up with Will. I'm your host, Will, here with another episode, and today I'm going to be talking about the NFC and AFC Championship games, the winners of those games, and my predictions for the Super Bowl, which is tomorrow. I've put this video off for a little bit. I wanted to do it earlier in the week, but just now getting to it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the conference championship games in the NFL. So 2 weekends ago, you had the Commanders at the Eagles, two NFC East teams playing in the NFC title game, and the Eagles won this game big, 55-23. Now, if you watch the game, this game was not ever really close. In the second quarter, it was still in the second quarter it was still kind of close. The Washington Commanders scored a touchdown and fell a 2-point conversion to be behind 14-12, and the Eagles scored two straight touchdowns to go up 27-12 before a field goal to end in the first half 27-15. So it's still respectable, still within range. But then four touchdowns in the second half by the Eagles and only one for the Commanders. Dominating game for them. And the story of this game is just the turnovers for Washington. Jaden Daniels threw an interception. They lost 3 fumbles in the game. It was just an ugly game, and the Eagles are too good of a team that if you turn the ball over, they're going to find ways to score. It's not if they're going to score, they're going to score. You've got to have a clean game against them. The Commanders couldn't, but I give props to them and Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels for making it this far. Terrific season for them. Dan Quinn, his first year as head coach of the Commanders. Great season for them to make it to the NFC title game. A lot farther than I thought they were going to go. I figured they would probably be the most improved team in the NFC East, but I still didn't think they'd be a playoff team. But I was very wrong on that. They were much better than my Cowboys. They had a great season, and the Eagles, my Cowboys' arch rivals in the last 20 years, they're going to the Super Bowl again, and I've got to watch it. It's unfortunate, but the Eagles are just a phenomenal team all the way around. Saquon Barkley has really transformed this team, has really splashed on the scene as an MVP candidate. Jalen Hurts, I think, is a very good quarterback. I think there's a lot of people that still kind of like to dog on him for being just the quarterback that gets the tush push every time. It's a great strategy, and if other teams can't stop it, why would you ever get away from it? I'm not a fan of it. I don't. I shouldn't say I'm not a fan of how good they are at it. I think it's a great strategy, and I don't think that it should be banned. But I think a lot of people give him a little too much hate. I'm a Cowboys fan. I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I don't really understand the hate for him. They've got terrific wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The Eagles are just great all around. They've got a good defense. This is a team that a lot of people had picked to go to the Super Bowl. They were a team that I picked to be a playoff team. They're a team I picked to be in the NFC title game. I had them losing to the Lions before the postseason started. When I did my postseason predictions video, I had them losing to the Lions in the NFC title game. I was wrong on that, but they're a terrific team. Great season by them to make it to the Super Bowl. Over on the AFC side of the bracket, the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs win this one 32-29. This was a terrific game, really back and forth. And outside of the game the previous week between Baltimore and Buffalo, this was probably the most anticipated game so far up to this point in the NFL schedule. The AFC title game, a rematch between the Bills and Chiefs. It seems like this is almost every year at this point. And the Chiefs won again. They had home field advantage. The Bills beat them earlier in the season when it was at Buffalo, but going into Kansas City is just a hard place to win. And so far, in the playoffs, we've only seen Joe Burrow and Tom Brady pull it off. Now, this was, like I said, this was a back and forth game. At one point, it looked like the Bills were going to win this game. They took the lead late in the third quarter, 22-21. It looked like they were going to pull away, and Patrick Mahomes was just let them down the field, 10-yard run, They take the lead 29 to 22. Bills charge back down the field, score a touchdown 29-29. And Harrison Butker, like I predicted in my conference championship video, kicked the game-winning field goal 32-29. Now, it didn't run out the clock. There was 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the game. The Bills were driving down the field. They got kind of stopped. It gets to fourth down, and they just kind of have to throw a Hail Mary pass almost as Josh Allen is rushed by some defenders. And he throws it down the field. Looks like a wild pass, falls incomplete. But on review, it's still incomplete, but their tight end, Dalton Kincaid, could have caught the pass. It's just kind of astounding that he didn't. I mean, he's kind of falling down or diving for it, but it's right between his arms, and it just drops. Like, he really should have caught that ball. And I think if he catches that ball, maybe the Bills win this game. But this game is going to be remembered for the controversy involved in a fourth down stop earlier in, let's see, I'm trying to figure out when this happened. I think that was in, okay, so early in the fourth quarter. Yeah, early in the fourth quarter is when this key play happened, and it changed the game. Early in the fourth quarter, the Bills get it to 4th and 1. It was their second 4th and 1. It was their second 4th and 1 of this drive. They were on the Kansas City 41. They had just scored a touchdown to take the lead. They forced Kansas City into a punt. They're driving down the field. It looks like they're maybe going to take command of this game, pull away. They get it to a 4th and 1, and they do their kind of run up the middle. And Josh Allen is kind of stopped, but he's pushing forward across the line, but you can't really see the ball. And it looks like he probably got it, but you don't really know. And one ref is signaling like he's got the first down, another one's got him shorter, and then they meet and talk about it, and they're like, he's short. Then they review it, and on the review, you can't see the ball, and this is something that I've had issues with the NFL, and it seems to be, as a fan at least, that fans seem to take a side on this depending on how they want the outcome to go. And essentially the ruling is, like, if you can't see the football, you can't make there's not definitive evidence that the ball ever crossed the line, which is a little doesn't make entire sense, because if you know a player's holding the ball up against their chest and the upper part of their body crosses the line to gain or the goal line, even though you can't see the ball, you know they have the ball. No one else comes up with the ball. There's no fumble. You know that they got that far. Now, it's a little different when the player is almost right on the line and there's a bunch of players in the way kind of blocking it, and you're not entirely sure where it is. But again, this actually came up in the Notre Dame. I kind of brought it up. I don't know if anyone else mentioned it, but this kind of came up in the Notre Dame Texas A&M game to start the season in college football. There was a play on fourth down where Riley Leonard looked like he got the first. It was either third or fourth down. I think it might have been fourth down, where he ran and it looked like the upper part of his body crossed the line to gain. Well, they ruled that he was short, and then on further review, because they couldn't see the ball, they could only see where his body was, that they're like, well, it's short. But the logic should be, you know the ball is in this hand, the line to gain is here, and this part of the body has crossed over, even though you can't see the ball, you know he has the ball here, then it should be easy to determine that that's a first down. And I think that is the complaint for people in this game. But I have seen it the other way, where people are like, well, you can't see the ball. Not necessarily in this instance with the Bills and Chiefs, but in other instances like the Notre Dame game early in the year. My dad was even someone like, well, you can't determine where the ball is. Yeah, but you kind of know where it is. Like, it's not in his and Riley Leonard's right hand. It's in his left hand, and the left part of his body is over the line. So then you should know that it probably should be a first down based on the limited amount of evidence that you have. The logic follows that it should be a first down. Now, this is going to end up leading to perhaps, maybe further down the line, a rule change or other ways to measure where the ball is. This is something that's been talked about for the last few years, and it's likely to eventually happen where they use some other kind of system to determine where the ball is on the field, some kind of AI or computer model or something, or as people have suggested for years, having a chip or something in the ball where you could track where the ball is exactly on the field. Now, there's probably some issues with that, and that's maybe a topic for another time, but it would maybe be better than the current system, which kind of seems like, well, we can't determine where the ball is, so we're just going to go with what we said on the field. But if you actually watch the replay, and I've seen clips of this where people have got the angle right down the line to gain, and they draw a line where you can actually see it from, because like a lot of the line is covered by players pushing each other and whatnot. So they draw a line straight from the top of your screen all the way down, so you can see where the line is, and you see that Josh Allen has the ball like kind of either in the middle of his chest or like kind of left, and he's pushed, and you can't see the ball, you just see the top of his head because there's all these players around him, and you kind of see him like essentially hit the line, like hit the middle of the line, and then get pushed back. And people, rightfully so, have said that should be a first down. And I agree too. The ball he clearly doesn't fumble the ball. No one else comes up with the ball. He's got it tucked, and you see the upper part of his body cross the line. So logic should follow that it's a first down. That's what people are upset about, and I think rightfully so, because I've been someone who, like, especially early in the year with the Notre Dame game, and I've seen it happen in other games where, yes, you can't definitively know where the ball is, and maybe this is something that should really be used more for when determining a player is down, because especially once you get in kind of a big pile of people, you maybe can't tell easily when the player is actually down, so you kind of have to go off of the whistle or when they're not moving anymore. But in a situation like this, where it's where are they on the field, the goal line? How do you not? How is there not logic to follow that that should be a first down? Now, maybe it's the refs just following the rule book by the letter of we can't determine where the ball is because we can't physically see it. So, ergo, we have to go with what we said on the field, even though maybe we're incorrect on that. And maybe we know we're incorrect, but we can't definitively see where the ball is. I would like to think and hope that that's what it is. There's a lot of people throwing around saying the NFL is rigged. The Chiefs have gotten a lot of favorable calls this year, and especially at the end of games. But this is what someone else I heard said. This is the same thing that happened with the Patriots for years. Because they're such a good team, they're always in a position to win. Where if something doesn't go the other team's way, or the other team makes a mistake, or there's a bad call or decision that goes in their favor, they always find a way to take advantage of it. Good teams find ways to take advantage of the situations given to them on the field. And that's what I believe the Chiefs have done this year and what the Patriots used to do. It's not necessarily that they're cheating, and I don't think the Chiefs are cheating. They're just a really good football team, and because they're on national TV far more than other teams, and because a lot of people dislike them for winning, and because they are really good, they're going to find ways to win games they maybe shouldn't. And they're going to benefit from calls every now and then. Sometimes because the ref just maybe favors them slightly because it's in Kansas City, or the star and Patrick Mahomes gets the benefit of the doubt, or other times, like this one, it could just be the refs following the letter of the law of we can't actually see where the physical ball is, so we have to unfortunately go with what we said on the field. That's maybe what happened here. I really don't think the NFL is rigged, but I hear a lot of people throwing that around. It is unfortunate, though, that we get the Chiefs Eagles in the Super Bowl. Me and some other people joked about this earlier, where everyone was saying, we want the Bills and Lions in the Super Bowl. That's America's Super Bowl. That's what everyone wants. But we're probably still going to get Chiefs Eagles. And that's exactly what happened. We got the Chiefs and Eagles. But these are probably the two best teams in the NFL, or at least two of the best teams. I really think the Lions were really good all year, but injuries were starting to kind of bite them at the end of the season. But the Eagles Chiefs is going to be a terrific Super Bowl matchup. I've done enough talking about the road to get there. But we get the Chiefs Eagles rematch of 2 years ago of Super Bowl 57. This is Super Bowl 59. It's in New Orleans. It takes place at 5:30 on Fox tomorrow night. I hope you're going to watch. I'm sure most of you who watch this probably will be watching the Super Bowl. Some of you maybe not. Some of you might just be going for the social event. But as always, the Super Bowl is a fun event. It's tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. on Fox. I should say 5:30 Central Time. I'm in Central Time. I'd like to think in Central Time all the time. I'm in 5:30 Central Time on Fox as Chiefs Eagles. Chiefs are currently a 1-point favorite, so this is basically a pick'em game. If you are a bettor, I'm not a bettor. But if I were a bettor, I would pick the Chiefs in this game. I said before the season even started in my preseason prediction video that the Chiefs were going to three-peat this year. They were going to be the first team to three-peat. They've been a phenomenal team. They have the best quarterback. If they get home field advantage, you know they're going to get to at least the AFC title game or the Super Bowl. They've made it to the Super Bowl now. They're a 1-point favorite. And they've only scored 30 points once all year, and that was in the AFC title game against the Bills. They just find ways to win games. Their defense is no joke either. Like their one time they scored 30 points all year was 2 weeks ago against the Bills in the AFC title game. But they have found ways to shut teams down all season. They have one of the better defenses in the league. They just have a really solid defense. And even though they're not lighting up the scoreboard, and Patrick Mahomes didn't have his best year ever, actually kind of had a lesser year. But this team is very reminiscent of the early 2000s Patriots teams, where Tom Brady isn't necessarily throwing for 30, 35 touchdowns a season. He's throwing for more like 25 and 10 interceptions, and Patriots cruise to winning back-to-back Super Bowls. That's essentially what this kind of feels like for the Chiefs. They've got a really solid defense. They're really good. They find ways to score when they need to. They find ways to score just enough, and their defense has just shut teams down this year. The Eagles are a little different. I think their offense is a little better with Saquon Barkley being the best running back in the league. He got 2,000 yards on the season. Phenomenal player, MVP candidate. They've got great wide receivers. I think better wide receivers than what the Chiefs do. The Chiefs have the better tight end in Travis Kelce, but Dallas Goedert is a really good tight end. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback as well. Nick Sirianni is a good head coach. This team is really good. They have a good defense. And actually, according to ESPN's matchup predictor, they have the Eagles a 56% chance to win the game, even though the Chiefs are a 1-point favorite. If we were, talking preseason that this was the Super Bowl, I would say Chiefs easily. The Eagles had a terrific season, and Saquon has played a lot better than I thought he would. I'm not going to lie there. Like, I really thought that his years in the Giants, having all these injury problems, that he maybe would be a good running back for the Eagles, but nowhere near as great as he's been. He's been phenomenal. The Chiefs are going to have to find ways to stop him. They have a really good defense. The Eagles have a pretty solid defense as well. But this game might come down to turnovers. What team is going to make the turnovers? As we saw in the NFC title game, the Eagles really benefited from 4 turnovers from the Commanders, and the Chiefs took advantage of some fourth down stops, especially that one fourth down stop against the Bills, because immediately after their fourth down stop, they went down and got a touchdown. So I think this game is going to come down to turnovers, and I'm going to predict that the Eagles make at least one more turnover than the Chiefs in this game. And I'm going to say the Chiefs win by a score of 35-31. I think they win by 4 in this game. I think this is going to be a great matchup. It's been a great season so far, and I'm excited to watch this Super Bowl tomorrow. I hope you are as well. Let me know. This is all I got for this video. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Oh, I forgot to mention Super Bowl MVP. Clearly, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes again. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to be Super Bowl MVP. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.